At the end of 2022, we moved to a remote cottage in the Lake District National Park in the north of England. It's miles from the nearest village, surrounded by peaks and farmland. There's no public transport, and the closest train station is 7 miles away. People just don't live here without a car. Locals said it wouldn't be possible, and so did the estate agents. But we live here on our bikes.
Ready. And as a little spoiler, we have made it over a year.
Yeah.
But I don't think either of us realised quite how much it would change our lifestyle in some quite obvious ways, but also in other ways that we just couldn't have expected, or how hard it would get at points.
So this is a video about the good, the bad, the changes and the life lessons from life on our bike and remote cottage.
We grew up riding bikes, cycling to school, to friends or to the pub. We got older, met each other and dreamed of travelling the world by bike. Getting to work in Hanoi on our bikes, getting to work in Switzerland on our bikes. Life has always just been on two wheels, so when this crazy cottage popped up, in a part of the world we'd always dreamed of living, even though we'd never lived anywhere remote before, we were determined to give it a shot.
This is probably a good point to say that although we do really love to cycle, we're definitely not hardcore cyclists.
No, far from it. We don't use Strava. We rarely know how fast or how far we go. We just really love cycling.
Actually, we increasingly cycle very slowly and spend more time getting distracted than actually riding. And so we wanted to share our story of life on a bike from somewhere we were told just wouldn't be possible. First off, our bikes make our life here possible, and so we're very reliant on them. We have two surly trolls called Trevor and Trudy. They are pretty battered, but they're sturdy and reliable, and they're like extensions of us really. If the bikes need fixing or aren't running smoothly, life gets put on hold. So when Trevor and Trudy are happy, we're happy too.
So it does mean I spend a lot of time outside fixing the bikes, getting greasy fingers, which is a process I do actually really love, particularly on days like today. But when it's not so nice, it means either getting the front rim really mucky and busy, or just putting up with fixing the bikes out in the rain, which is not so enjoyable.
We spend a lot of mornings waking up early to do practical bike runs before starting work. It's a hilly 5-mile ride to the village, which has a doctor's, post office, village store and pub. The nearest bigger town we'd ride to is 15 miles off, and it's also 15 miles to our regular train station, which we're pretty reliant on without a car. The train station is a very hilly 1.5-hour ride. 2 if the weather is bad. So everything takes considerably longer. There is a private hire minibus we've used for things like hospital visits, but for virtually everything out of the house, it's our first experience where bikes are the only practical option. To the post office or dentist, to pick up some bread, for any socialising, it's all a very hilly ride away. We've grown very accustomed to starting the day with a little pedal. Sometimes you are in a bit of a rush and you get back hot and sweaty, but it can really become this uplifted journey that just gives so much colour to the mundane. Commutes become this natural experience, riding through ecosystems, surrounded by hills and the sounds of nature. You feel the elements on your skin and get your blood flowing. Tiring, yes, but the constant nature fixes fill you with this special kind of energy, and that adds so much colour to our life. You get back in feeling motivated, mindset lifted, ideas bubbling. It's become really important for our creative projects.
Yeah, and in terms of like post-surgery stuff, okay, I had chronic indigestion.
But I thought it'd be more interesting if we gave a really honest insight, rather than just the highlights. Because there are some parts we have found pretty tough.
Are there any aspects of living here without a car that you don't like?
I guess everything takes a lot longer, is a lot harder, and you therefore get a lot sweatier in comparison.
And you're always very hungry, I would say.
Yes.
The Lake District has some of the highest rainfall in the UK. There are patches when the roads ice over, it's hilly, there are no cycle lanes, and it's all on quiet rural roads. So when they ice over for quite some time.
Days like today when just got to get to the post office before starting work in the morning, the roads are still really icy, my fingers are numb. It makes the cycling seem quite a lot harder. God, I can barely feel my nose.
In general, I'd say maintaining a normal lifestyle has required a lot more commitment, equipment and maintenance too.
I think 5 miles to the pub is nice on a good day, but it can feel like a lot further in the middle of winter when it's icy roads and bad weather. Particularly working from home,
Yeah.
there are points where I'd say we feel pretty isolated. We don't really, through winter, there's points where we don't see anyone for quite a long time.
Yeah, you're stuck with me a lot of the time.
And particularly because we use the bikes for everything,
Yeah.
if there's an issue with the bikes or we're waiting for parts to arrive, we really do feel a little bit stuck.
So we've had to adapt to all of these trickier parts of life, but it has taught us some very important lessons.
Yeah, with a lot of good things which I think have come out of them.
We've realised there's normally a beautiful side to the harder parts, just so long as you aren't in a rush. And that really encourages you to slow down. You can't physically fit as much into each day, so life naturally becomes more minimal and you try to make the most of each task. You also can't physically fit everything on your bikes, so you learn to live with less. You become more self-sufficient and resourceful too. If computers break, clothing needs repairing, house needs maintenance, we fix things and try to make them last. Stocking up on wood and supplies because we often wouldn't have time for the long cycle otherwise.
Oh, yes!
Instead of cycling 15 miles to pick up a takeaway, we embrace our own cooking. Our entertainment becomes the outdoors, and our fun out becomes fun in a lot of the time.
It's meant we've got very good at improvising.
Or just being a bit more open-minded.
Yeah, open-minded in general.
My Halloween costume.
Ready?
Go!
Give me the same amount of apples. So, if you've got a bunch of apples and you want to have some fun, try apple bobbing in a shallow bowl with just you and your partner.
It's also really changed our relationship with the seasons and weather, because it can change in minutes. If you see a patch of good weather, sometimes you know it's just best to rearrange the day and pick up those supplies whilst the sun is shining. But at the same time, sometimes there's just no avoiding it. You quickly learn to invest in waterproofs, and you keep a pair with you at all times.
It's really rainy.
I would be lying if I said it doesn't rain a lot, but those rainy days just make the sunshine seem so much brighter.
Good. So we've had to adapt with a lot of the harder things, and it has brought us a lot of good things in the process.
Yeah.
But there's also just been a lot of amazing things that the bikes have just immediately brought us,
Yes,
which
definitely.
has completely changed our time whilst we've been here.
Bikes kind of force you to embrace the local landscape. We feel so lucky to know the northern half of the Lake District like the back of our hands now. We know the peaks, know the streams, know the little hidden tracks and off-road trails. We're surrounded by memories we've made on the bikes, and it gives you a real sense of belonging and place. We've ended up going for so many little adventures in and around work because it's just so simple to jump on your bike for a few hours. You quickly realise there's wild beauty everywhere, and sometimes the best experiences are found where you least expect them.
So what are they? So what's the book you've got?
Mushrooms. All you need to know.
And there's a rope swing over there. Right, we're going to the rope swing. Oh my god! Good?
Really, really good.
What would you say is one thing that you have really loved about not having a car whilst we've been living here?
Well, I guess we're able to sort of be in the landscape a lot more. When you're in a car, you're sort of zooming past and not really seeing things or taking things in. Whereas on a bike, like, you have the privilege of sort of being able to stop whenever you want and go off and explore, and I just think see a lot more than you would in a car.
And I also think that without having a car, it's really made us explore our local area more.
Yeah.
Which I know sometimes it's nice to go further afield, but it's also really nice to give you that sense of like home and your local surroundings, to get to know that. It's not a famous woodland or area. I think there is a name to it, but if we had a car, we probably would have gone much further afield, probably had a lot of people around, definitely wouldn't have found this rope swing.
The best rope swing
Which
in
has
the
blown
world.
me away. So we've literally spent about an hour and a half here,
Just done this rope swing.
and we didn't get to where we intended to get to,
No.
but I guess that's how we found here.
The bikes have connected us to local community too. Instead of driving off into cities for big events, we'll cycle to local folk nights and celebrations. You learn to make the most of what's on offer. If there's a celebration at the village hall, or a potato day, or a bonfire, the whole village goes, and so we pedal down too. And each time we meet fascinating people and learn new perspectives.
It's huge! Can I get some? Yeah,
We've lived in plenty of places just on our bikes, but here, with no public transport, we just focus on the community around us. Having been on the move a lot in previous years, this is the most settled and connected we've ever felt. And it's amazing to be gradually setting roots. And I do really think the bikes have played a huge role in this.
Very happy.
Our time here has been a lot like a bike ride. You head off into the unknown with a lot of preconceived ideas, but still not completely sure what to expect. It's good to be ambitious and try something new, but you're also aware things might not turn out as planned. All the while knowing if you don't put the work in, you just won't make the most of the experience. And undoubtedly, there are parts of the journey with frustrations and difficulties. Some bits are so tough, you're cursing and questioning why you're doing it. But all of that just seems insignificant when you experience these moments of beauty, surrounded by rolling hills, inspiration and possibilities. Yes, you're tired, but you feel so damn alive. Sure, sometimes you need to be a bit open-minded to fully appreciate it all, but you know the journey getting to this point has made it completely worthwhile.
So weather has,
I got a stone at my yeah.
Weather has turned. We're in a cloud. There's little bits of snow falling. We're just hiding behind
a trig point for warmth and shelter.
But we have been here now for over a year, and we still come up to these local hills, and we still just marvel at them. We still go on these little real local after-work little cycle rides, and it still just blows us away.
Yeah.
Even when we go to places like the post office, these little 5-mile rides, we're still finding little details and intricacies, and it's just all those things which mean we just forget about the harder parts. It just makes them seem quite insignificant.
Yeah, and it all sort of fades away. And I think the way you can really tell is we go away on trips to some of the most beautiful parts of the UK. When we're cycling back from the train station, sort of really tired and sweaty, we come over this last hill here, which is just gone by the
You could see it a minute ago, but now you can't.
We start to pick this valley where our little cottage is nestled, and we think, wow, this is absolutely beautiful, and we feel very, very lucky to live here.
And I think the reason why we've felt so connected to these hills and this landscape and the cottage is because we've experienced it all by bike.
Yeah.
And I think we both said the only reason we would move from here is because there's just such a big wide world to explore.
On our bikes?
We get to do it on our bikes.
Coming to you live from the top of the most ferocious mountain in England. It's very, very windy. Who knows whether it will make it back?
Slowly we dropped down, the weather cleared, and we were treated to a beautiful sunset. Thanks for watching, folks. Catch you next time.